Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. We are still continuing. This is part 2 of our episode with the Moorish Americans in the prison system, a deeper dive. Mr. Ford is back with us. We had to take a little break and try to collect our thoughts and to understand this topic because this is a sensitive topic and we don't want to offend anyone. We hope that the takeaway from this message today would be that how can I apply this or how can I support a loved one that may be in the system that needs some guidance or some clarity on how to understand how to get connected with a Moorish individual. Mr. Ford, we're going to continue with this episode, but I want to focus on now that you're home. Thank God that you're home. I know that you are doing work in the community, and I want to talk about the reform and advocacy that you are starting to, the efforts that you have put into it. I know that you are working diligently with the DLC, and I know that you have some success stories that you want to share, but I also know that you have a future outlook. And that future outlook to me could be in the next 6 months to a year. But for others, they may not see that vision that you and I see right now. So I want to highlight that, especially with the future of where you're taking your vision in life. So if you can just recap and just share with us what have you been doing since you've been home?
Well, since I've been home, it's something I was planning on before I even was released because I worked on, working in the law library for many years and working on cases. My focus was mostly dealing with legal work. Mostly I was trying to get out of prison. So I had to, study and learn from other brothers that was teaching me, the ropes, the laws, the courts, mistakes that I had made, things I overlooked and didn't pay attention to. And some of those things were dealing with, fundamentals, my status, who I am, my nationality, if I even know I have one. And so my time through the system was learning that stuff and then learning about when people were coming into the system and why they were coming into the system. Why was recidivism taking place? Because some people, they were coming in and out even while I was in there. I mean, I've known several people that left and came back, and I'm still doing the same bid. They might have left and came back 2-3 times. So, my desire to remain on the outside makes me ask those questions of those people. So I say, what happened? Like, what is it that took place when you left out of the system that brought you back here? And it could be a multitude of things, but most of it, what I learned was a bad start. And the bad start is not having all the resources, support, the tools, the knowledge to stay out.
And that's not to cut you off, but that's what we're going to be focusing on, is that we want to get everybody the resources. And that is a tool, that is a component of what you are doing today. And I want to commend you for doing that because, like you just mentioned, when individuals come out, they have trouble getting their mindset together and navigating where they want to go. They don't have structure. So now I don't want to take away from your joy, but now they're going to have a place to come to.
Right. And I learned that by asking those questions. And now what we're in the process of doing is learning what a person actually needs, to get
You're
those
listening
things
to
out of
them.
the way.
You're finding out what the gap is.
Right. Something as simple as socks, shoes, underwear, shirts, pants, a watch, a phone. You're going to need those things. And if you don't have that, that can cause a lot of problems. Also, if you don't have a place to go, like we talk about communities,
housing is a big issue.
Housing and a community. So what's spoken of in the reentry programs inside of the system is to learn how to connect to a community. But if I don't know what my community is, if I don't know my identity, then I might attach myself to somebody else's community. And
Mm-hmm.
every single move that I make is offensive to them. But if I was in my own community where people understand me, how I talk, what kind of music I listen to, what kind of food I eat, they understand my background and my culture, then that makes it easier for that person to stay out because he has somebody that's attaching to him that understands him and knows him.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's a lot of the problem is that if you think about it, just very simple. If you look at the police, when they approach a lot of people, they say, "What are you doing here?" Like they want to know why you are over in this location that's not suited suited for you. You know what I'm saying? You look out of place. So if you look out of place, that means that you don't know your place. And it doesn't mean that, the
That's a
world has
great
to be
analogy.
segregated, but it means that people have to be where they're supposed to be, and then you can get to know other people from there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why this issue ties into the Moorish identity as well, because that's what we teach is where you're supposed to be. Where are our people at? Like, where do we have our functioning community center and resource center and
Mm-hmm.
people who look like you, who know your family, who care about your issues and don't want to shut you down, don't want to, limit your voice. They want you to express yourself. They want you to be yourself. The prophet says, you got Moors, you got to learn how to be yourself. You know what I'm saying? But what you've been doing is being somebody else. And then you can't be somebody else for too long. Eventually you're going to rebel against that identity and you're going to start being somebody else. And then they're going to lock you up. So part of this is to, like my connection primarily is with the Moors inside the system so that they can have a place to connect to when they come out. And any other culture that has their own identity, that they could connect to their identity and their people. So, and that's not a bad thing. Um, but yeah, we focus on setting up nonprofit and LLCs that can focus on the needs of individuals when they come out for things that they need so they can adapt to their own community and their own culture.
Okay, so tell me where we're at with this, with your future outlook.
There's a lot of, you know, it's taken, like we said, taking something from the belief stage to the faith stage to the fruition stage. So belief is when you think something is true, and the faith is when you know it is true, and the fruition is when you actually manifest that truth. So we are in that process somewhere along the way in many ways. Some things are in the fruition stage, and some things are in the belief stage.
Mm-hmm.
So just to make it clear, where it's all a work in progress, and there's many people trying to figure out how they can help, how they can assist. Many organizations are coming together, including OER, and even we're going to be working with the Department of Corrections. We're going to be working with different cities, and looking at their returning citizens, people that are returning to their area that don't want to wander in the streets, but want to have something productive to do, and have a good start. You know what I'm saying? That they don't have to struggle for, the basic necessities, and they don't have to have it. One of the major problems right now with obtaining resources, and I'm using those resources right now just to test the system and see what is actually provided. A lot of them, it seems like they don't comprehend that if you come out of prison, you don't have a phone. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have that. People will tell you, oh, okay, we're gonna call your phone. What phone? Okay, we're gonna email you this. Email it to where? Okay, you can go over to this city and pick up your clothes. How am I gonna get there? You know what I'm saying? It's like little simple stuff that's like, yeah, because you didn't live that life, you don't understand that problem. That's a hurdle. And nor do you understand people where they might be on probation or whatever it is. There's too many things that's not understood between people who have resources, and they might be well-intentioned people. They might have a whole host of things that they want to provide to a person, but just have no concept of, no different than when Hurricane Katrina happened and people were trying to get out of New Orleans, and they didn't realize that there were people that actually can't leave. They don't have a car.
Right.
They might be handicapped.
Right.
They might be hooked up to a ventilator. Like you didn't take that into account. You took healthy individuals that can run fast, that can make the bus and can get in the car, that got enough money to stay in the hotel. That's what you understood. But all the other people, they didn't not leave by choice. They were stuck. And if you don't understand, if you didn't even come from that neighborhood and you don't have anyone on your council that came from that neighborhood, how can you help them? That'll just be a neighborhood you overlook. So that's the problem right now. You have a lot of people that are prisoner advocates or working to help people, but if you've never been there, you don't know.
They don't have the basic concept. And one of the things is that that people don't take the time out to go visit, you know, to get the behind the scenes, to be able to put themselves in your shoes, to say, now I can get a concept of why he's doing this or where he came from. Because if you don't have a shared vision, if you don't have a shared concept of, just like you said, Katrina, okay, whoever made the decision, like you said, okay, we're going to get so many people on this bus. You didn't think about the people that are hospital bound. Or maybe you did, and you depended on those clinical staff or whoever those support systems in the hospital to get those people out. But like you said, what about the people that's in their homes? So do you have enough boats to get to them? Do you have enough manpower to get to them? You know, I mean, some things we can't prepare for within a 24-hour window. But if you know it's coming, like we got Hurricane Milton coming now. Okay, you know it's coming. Get in the mindset of preparing, like you said, get the resources in place. If you got to go to other states, get those resources so that you can get those people to safety. The same with the prison system. Unless I walked in your shoes, I can't tell you that you're wrong. I can't tell you when you come in my office and says, well, I want to do this and this is where my vision is going. I can't knock you down. I can't say that, well, you know, I'm not giving you funding for that. You know, I think it's useless. Well, how do you know? You know?
I mean, some of the things are common sense to me. You don't even have to have all the way been in a prison. You just have to be empathetic. But, you know, people order from DoorDash. They order Domino's pizza delivery service because what? Because they don't want to get up off the couch or they don't have a car. So they want them to bring them the food. So you don't understand that if a person doesn't have a car, doesn't have this, doesn't have that, they are, you know, haven't been out in society for a long time, so they don't know how to walk around out here. You don't know that they might need the clothes brought to them. You don't know that they might need the information or resources delivered to them. You don't know they might need a ride from the prison. Like when I was released, they dropped me off in the parking lot and said, all right, see you later. So I was standing there in my prison clothes in my bag, you know, my commissary bag. So it's like, you don't know that a person might not actually have anything beyond the parking lot after you drop them off.
So what about your safety? So they didn't care about your safety. They didn't care that you had to make it to the next destination.
Well, you don't care about the community safety. Like, what if I have to survive? So you subject not just myself to reincarceration, but everyone else to whatever might happen, just because I'm going to have to survive. So
yeah, let me ask you a question. Do you think sometimes that the system sets you back up for failure?
Sure, like I said, it's some things are common sense. Now, if a person knows that they don't want to go to the store and they are going to order on their phone all of the food to be delivered because their leg hurts or they have a handicap some kind of way, and they want those resources brought directly to them, then if you're empathetic, then you can see that that might be the situation for another person that just came out of prison and has no way to get there, just like you have no way to get there. So if you just raise your thoughts a little bit, you know, above the lowest level, and you should be able to understand, like, all right, we got to close this gap for resources. We got to close this gap for jobs. We have to close this gap for connection to religious services and community. We have to close the gap. It can't be way over there. It can't be on the other side of this river right here. And I don't have a boat.
Why not?
You know I don't have a boat.
Tell me why not.
Unless you taught me to swim, or I can make a boat. It can't be on the other side of the river. It doesn't matter. You
Okay,
can
so
stack up a whole
how do
thing of
we, how
resources
does
over
the
there.
community come together and fix these issues?
You got to bring the resources over here. You got to bring the resources over here. That's basic.
So that means your voice has to be heard.
Right. And being that that's a very hard point to get across to people. People are busy. They have their own lives. They got, they can only do so much. So I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. I'm not complaining. I'm doing. So it's not about me pointing a finger at anybody. Like we say, you point a finger, you got 3 fingers pointed back. So I got to do what I can do. It says, are you an American or an American? Are you a Moroccan or a Moroccan? You know what I'm saying? So what are you going to do about it? Okay, I'm a man with 2 legs and 2 arms. I'm strong. I can do what I need to do to help the other people that's in the same status or problem that I face. So I can do that. It's no problem. I'm not complaining. It needs to be done though. So I'm going to do it, God willing, and hopefully other people will understand that that's a need and it needs to be supported, so that the communities can flourish. Why not? Simple to me, simple mathematics. So, that's what we do, and I might take more or direct or understand a certain type of care and concern dealing with Moors because they're part of my community, but I communicate with everybody. Like in my time in prison, in my time growing up, I come from a multicultural area, and I respect everybody's backgrounds, nationalities, heritage, cultures. I can learn from all of that. I mean, I spent all the time in school learning about everybody else. I just didn't understand anything about me.
Right.
So, and everybody's supposed to have that. Everybody's supposed to have understanding of who they are.
Right.
And when you do that, like, one major problem that people face when they come out of prison is they're in a status called civilly dead or civil death, and they have to overcome that. You have to be of equal status as everybody that's walking around, and you have to know how to overcome your civilly dead status. So that's something that we teach and we pay attention to.
Right.
And that's what we're going to be doing through the nonprofit. So
okay, so highlight us on this nonprofit. What would be the benefits for inmates, for individuals that are already out in society, and for family members?
With them, if it's going to be, see, I know a lot of people in the system, so it's not a mystery to me. And I know, and I've been in a lot of places in the system, so that's not a mystery to me either. What might be a mystery, like you said, if they got out and they're in the wind, they're somewhere. I mean, it's going to be hard for me to track them down, but that's going to be something else that'll have to be built into how to advertise, so that other people that are out, I don't care if you were out for 1 year or 2 years, you still probably lack basic necessities. Somewhere along the line, you're trying to catch up to people who's been out here the whole time, and you have been gone for, I don't care if it was a month. A lot happens in a month. But if you were gone for a decade or 2 decades or 3 decades, you really need assistance. And even if you've been out here, you got a job, you got a girlfriend or whatever, and you staying at her house or something, you still need to understand basic principles for yourself. Because you're always behind and not catching up. You're barely keeping your head above water, and that's not what this nation is too prosperous. It has like we say, this is part of the Moorish Empire. And if you look around, it's beautiful and it has trees and it has water and it has grass, it has oil, it has everything that you need, but we don't know how to connect it to people in need. And there should be, really, in this nation, there should be no homelessness. There should be no people who are starving and don't have it. There should be no uneducated people. There's too many resources to go around. We just don't know how to connect them to people. I think we have a lot of good people, good hearts, that of all nationalities, all races, whatever you want to call it, that want to help. They want their lives to be better. And that's what the temple is for the uplifting of fallen humanity. The prophet says, if you know that your condition can be better, come join the Moorish Science Temple and help in this process. So that's what we do. And we figure out ways that we can do it through the temple or through other ways that we can, create.
Now, I know that we're going to be working on getting the website up for you. We're going to be working on getting a contact information, whether it's by email or by phone. But for right now, what would you think would be the best way of communicating to get connected with you if someone needs it? Because this is not just information that's just for people here in Virginia. It's for people all over. Anyone should be able to say, "Hey, I need some guidance. I need some help. I'm in Michigan. I'm in Florida. How can I connect with you?"
I mean, there's many different people might want to connect for different reasons. So
Right.
you have other nonprofits that might want to connect to, if they understand what I'm saying and they feel that story, then they might say, well, we can give you some ideas and some mentorship and some contacts, and this is the best way to do this. We might also have people that want to donate, just donate supplies, resources, and we might have people that need those resources. But the best way that you've been providing so far is through your entity right now, because that's where you're hearing of this, is through Haz'el inspirations.com, and contact them, write them, subscribe to the page, like the videos, and build
They
the
can also
conversation.
message you too.
Yeah, message, when you send a message, direct it to me, until once this is firmly established, then we'll be working in partnership to do the best that we can to aid. So then I'll have another way to contact me and another way
Right.
to bring in resources or seek support or whatever. But the thing is, we're trying to end the need for a person to have to seek out the support. Once you let us know that you exist and this is who you are and where you are, like, we're on you. So because I know just coming out here, I could be apprehensive about going anywhere. So I know that, man, I was already in that situation. I already know, man, look, I'm gonna bring the stuff to you. I'm gonna talk to you. I'm gonna bring it to your door. Like, we're gonna talk about it. Get in the car. Let's go. Let's take care of these things, because I already know what needs to be done.
Right.
I don't need you to keep telling me what you need. I know what you need. You know what I'm saying? I was already in it. I already know. So I'm not playing those games. But
Right.
yeah, just that's what it is. Once we find out who you are, but the people that's in the system, I already know what's going on. Like, I already know who's coming out, when they're coming out. I know how to access that information. And what we're looking for is people that's within 3 years of coming home. And we already have them, and we know where they're at. So the best thing you could do in that time is just stay out of trouble, get trades,
Right.
get educated, stay in something positive, keep your health up, so that when you come out, we're going to be there to pick you up. We're going to be there you're not going to have to seek out resources and look all around for them. They're going to be available to you on day one. That's very important, to not have to kill that part right there. Like, that's nonsense to have people searching in the wild blue yonder, whatever, for something that you can just hand them right there and you give it to them. Like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about, why are we giving the prisoners all this? Nah, don't worry about it. Whatever. You want them to do good, don't you? Okay, whatever. So we're closing those gaps.
That's the key. Close the gap. That is the key. Now I want to close out to our listeners. And I cannot stress this enough. We encourage all our listeners, all our audience, no matter where you are, if you want to learn more, if you want to support this related cause or engage in community activists, we encourage you to reach out to us. You have highlighted a lot over the last month with me, and I have learned so much. It's a lot to consume all at once, and sometimes, and this could apply to anyone. We don't take heed to it until it happens to us. Some people ignore the concept, ignore the word. They're just talking stuff. That'll never happen to me. And then next week it happens to you, or a month later it happens to you, a year later it happens to you.
I mean, look at what's going on with the celebrities and all that.
Yes.
Anybody, I don't care what kind of money and that's when they're gonna start. When they go in the system, they're gonna understand, and they're gonna end up going to the temple to understand this thing about protecting their status, because that's something that they weren't really paying attention to because they had money. People were propping them up and supporting them. And at any point in time, somebody could pull the rug under you. And then all of those things that you were overlooking are going to be of the utmost importance, because you're walking into that realm of law that matters. It doesn't matter when you're at the club and jumping out the car and got all the friends and all the homeboys or whatever. But once that, you know, and it can happen to anybody. I don't care how much money you have. You know, as you can see, if you're watching the world events and you're watching the celebrities in our days and times right now that's going through it, it's like, well, everything I'm saying, you probably got to send them a copy of this or something and let them know, look, man, you might need to go to the law library.
I wanted to talk to you about, because I know that down the line, we're working on getting these episodes accessible to the tablets for the incarceration individuals. And for them, because they're not privileged to certain things. You and I both know that. Some people don't have a tablet. Some people, you only have one TV, so they can't see things. Or they're not communicating because they're staying in their shelter. They're staying to themselves. So we're going to try to get this information out the best way that we can. But in the long run, people have to speak up. They have to say, I want the help. I want the resources. You know, you can't wait until you get into trouble. You got to seek those resources ahead of time and see how you can support and maintain those resources down the line. And I think that's where we fall short, because until it hits us, we don't seek any type of knowledge or any type of awareness about ourselves.
Yeah, but and that's one of the things. Like we're gonna bring the resources to you, so hopefully you won't have to seek them. It's just like this. If in society they say you have to go to school, you must sign up and register your children in the school, and you must do this, you must do that. So they're basically saying this has to happen.
Well, it's homeschool now. You can homeschool your child. You just have to go through the paperwork.
You got to do something. You got to do homeschooling, or you got to put them in school, but you can't be out here and be truant. So you have to. They're gonna make sure that is just like when you're in high school, they make you pretty much sign up to college. You know what I'm saying? So like, there's something that people are gonna make you do.
They're preparing you.
Yeah, they're preparing you. So why not this?
Right.
Why not? So yeah, of course. Like I'm beyond having people have to seek out resources and all, because that right there, that can discourage. If you know that somebody wasn't really connected to the system and is not corporate savvy, because all of this is a corporation and people don't really understand how corporate savvy they are, but you've been trained in the ways of the corporation since you were in elementary schools in the United States. So if you don't comprehend the corporation and understand how to attain resources from it, then why would I continue that problem and tell you to seek out the resources? You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to tell you to seek out the resources. I'm going to bring them to you, because I understand that you don't get that part. And that's something that we can cultivate as we go forward. But that can discourage a person. If I call a number and I got to sit here for 25 minutes about push this button, push that button, and I'm like, and I didn't even use this phone before, so that's already discouraging me.
Right.
It's like within 5 minutes, I'm like, forget that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, call me back at this number and wait till this time. And man, I got other things. I'm passing up opportunities that it might be illegal, but I'm passing up opportunities waiting on you to pick up the phone. Like, and then this phone, the battery's dead, so I don't got time for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I have to eat, when I have to get something to drink, when I have to sustain, I don't have time to be chasing down emails, phone calls, contact the head of this department and talk to this person. No, forget that. So, and if other people don't understand it, then just get out the way. Support what we're doing, but get out the way, because we're trying to connect those resources. So if what you understand, because that's how you've been raised up and educated, is to keep pushing buttons on the phone, and eventually you'll get to somebody that you can drive your car over there to and get the resources, then right, that's very good, but that's not going to help us. But we do need the resources.
Okay, give me 2 tips for today. 2 tips
for the day. Learn your nationality and learn your creed. Nationality is the order of the day. So, it uplifts people to learn their nationality. It's not bad. It's a good thing. It's a good thing to learn this nation and what it's about, what it stands for, its principles, and learn your own and know that you have one.
Right.
Know that you have a nationality. You ask most people, I don't know if that you have a nationality.
You have a nationality.
Yeah, and learn your creed, learn your culture, learn your languages. We were people who could speak multiple languages.
Mm-hmm.
Now we speak one sometimes. So now you got people coming over from other countries right now and looking at us like, hey man, what's going on?
Right.
We able to come over here and set up a store and set up shop, and I'm able to communicate with this guy because I can speak Spanish, I can speak Chinese, I can speak this, I can speak that. Like, where you at? So we got to step it up or be left behind. But we got to help each other do that. So we're going to do that. We're going to help. And nationality and creed.
Key. That's the key. We need to help one another.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Ford, thank you. I know we have a couple more conversations going on with some of the Moorish brothers.
Mm-hmm.
So this is not the final time you will see Ford. I mean, he's kind of like stuck to me like glue. But no, he has great information to share. He is structuring his life to do what he wanted to accomplish a long time ago, and he is continuing, and he's a fighter, and that's what I like about him. So stay tuned. We have a couple more episodes to go, and we will see you in a couple weeks.
Peace.